So you're out at a public event. You're at a park, at a concert, or at some type of event, and you've got your family and your friends close by. How would you react if someone were to show up and start shooting everybody? How would you react if someone were to walk into that restaurant or to that building that you're in and just start popping off rounds at people? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today on this episode. Hey y'all, it's Chris from Frontsite. I'm going to take a few minutes today and talk about the 3 things you need to do to be safer with yourself and your family when you're out and about in public. Lately, there's been a lot of things going on across the country. There's been a lot of attacks. There's been a lot of people being killed, a lot of attempted assaults coming from primarily a specific group of people. And I don't necessarily mean a group of people by their skin tone or where they come from, or even gender or race, none of that stuff. I'm talking about they have a specific ideology about the world, right? So the 4 incidents I'm really talking about is the one in Texas with the guy with the hoodie, Michigan, the synagogue, the Southwest Airlines, and then most recently, the Virginia at Old Dominion. So a lot of things can happen in a lot of different places, right? So what can you do as a citizen to keep yourself and your family safe? Well, number 1, be aware of your surroundings, right? No matter where you go, and it's not about being a tinfoil hatter, it's all about understanding where you are in time and place and what's around you. So let's say you're going to a concert, or you're going to a 5K, or you're going to some kind of big race or athletic event or whatever. When you get there, you need to understand where you are and what is the best place for ingress and egress for you in case something bad were to happen. How do you get out of there, or how do you get to safety, right? So understand where you are and how to get to a safe place. Number 2, you have to understand what the threat could look like. And again, by look like, I don't mean what their skin tone is. I don't mean their hair color or what they wear. Well, not necessarily. I mean watching for people and certain indicators of criminal activity. So as an example, it is pretty easy to conceal a pistol, right? But a lot of the people lately have been using things other than handguns to complete the act of violence or attempt violence on other people. New York City, they had a dude had some type of explosive device, right? The guy in Texas had a long gun. I don't remember what the person at the synagogue up in Michigan had. The guy on the Southwest Airlines was unarmed. And I don't really know yet what the individual from Old Dominion had yet. But the problem is you have to understand, like, it's very easy to conceal a pistol. It's more difficult to conceal things like explosive devices or long guns. So if it's like it is here, I know it's not up north, because up north it's pretty cold and windy and snowy right now still. But down here in South Carolina, it's 78 degrees and sunny, right? So if I see somebody walking around with a long coat or a heavy jacket, and it looks like they're favoring one side of their body by holding their arm down against their body, that's a clue for me that they're holding on to something like a long gun or something that might be a problem. So what you need to do is you need to go to an authority or somebody in that area in authority and explain to them, hey, like, that guy looks kind of suspicious. If you see something suspicious, say something, right? This comes after the 9/11, like, if you see something, say something campaign from New York. Yeah, if you see something suspicious, definitely got to say something. So rule number 1, know the area you're in, know where you are. Number 2, keep aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you, who's there, and all that kind of stuff. Number 3, have a plan, especially if you have a family with you, right? Understand that if you and your spouse and you have a kid or 2 or 6, who's going to do what if something bad were to happen? And have that conversation. I get it. This is not the type of conversation you want to have, right? But unfortunately, it is what it is. These days, we have to have those conversations with our families. It's like, hey, if something were to happen anywhere, what are we going to do, right? Well, the rules for an active shooter situation or an active threat, there's 3 steps for an individual that you need to keep in mind if something, God forbid, were to happen. 1, run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight, in that order, right? Now, run. If something were to happen and you're at, say, a concert or you're at some other type of outdoor venue and something where shots would be fired, like down the street or wherever, don't go to the shooting unless you're going to help defend other people, right? If you're unarmed and you can't be anything more than a victim, get away and just get out of there, right? Don't put yourself in a position that's going to make you a victim as well. So that's run, right? Get out of there. 2, hide. If you can run, but you're kind of stuck somewhere and you can't get out of that location, find a place to hide. If you can get indoors to a structure that's going to be pretty solid and you can put stuff in front of the door to keep it from opening, that's a good place to be, right? The reason for that is most shooters, most threats like that are not going to try to break down a door if there's other targets of opportunity elsewhere. They're going to go to the path of least resistance, right? So find a place to go and lock it down, right? The best you can lock it down, the better. The last thing is fight. Let's say you can't run anywhere, you can't hide, somebody's on you or they're in that location right there and you can't go anywhere else. Fight. And when I say fight, I mean fight like you're the third monkey getting on Noah's Ark and it's starting to rain, right? Do the best you can to put that suspect down or that threat down as fast as possible. Now, that being said, what are some things you can do? If you have anything close by, grab it and throw it, right? And that goes for anybody. If there's a bunch of people in a little room and there's somebody coming in with a gun, if everybody grabbed something and threw it, that's going to reset their OODA loop. And as you are running to charge that person or somebody's running to charge that person, instead of shooting, that person's doing this, trying to block from getting hit with whatever it is you're throwing at them, whether it be, an empty holster or a bottle of water or a fire extinguisher, whatever. Throw something at that person, get that OODA loop reset while somebody else is trying to hit them, and you can grab them and take them down. In Old Dominion, it's almost what happened with the RTC cadets. They jumped this guy after he shot their instructor. They jumped him and beat him up, and one of the ROTC guys stabbed him. I believe the last I read was stabbed him 22 times and killed him, right? So they stopped that threat pretty well. Unfortunately, it happened to be after somebody was already killed. So you have to keep in mind, if you can't run and you can't hide, you have to fight, and you have to fight hard. You have to find a way to win, because your life matters to somebody. It matters to, obviously, yourself, your friends, your family, your kids, your parents, whatever. It matters. So fight, like I said, like you're that third monkey getting on Noah's Ark and it's starting to rain. All right. So that was just a couple of things, a couple of tidbits to keep your mind in the game a little bit, right? Keep your mind in the fight. You need to, again, keep in mind, if you're going somewhere, keep your eyes open, keep your head on the swivel, and have that conversation with your family. What's going to happen? What do we need to do to keep our families safe, right? My wife and I have the understanding that if, God forbid, something were to happen, I'm going to tell her to go somewhere and I'm going to go deal with the threat if I can, right? That's just the way it is. So we have to keep that in mind, have the plan, and talk about that on a regular basis, because, God forbid, we don't want anybody else becoming a victim. If you have the knowledge, you can apply that knowledge and keep yourself safer. Also, if you don't have the skill set to go forth and stop a threat, then don't try to be a hero if you're not going to win that fight, right? It's always just as good to be a really good witness and, give that information to law enforcement as soon as possible. Okay? So I hope you guys learned something here. Shoot me a comment down below if you have any other ideas of what else might keep people safe and their families safe. If you have any tips or tricks or anything else you think might be useful, I appreciate the comments down below. But do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this content with friends and family, because I think it's important that we all get the information and we can keep each other safer and we can have a safer community together. So I appreciate you tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to Frontsite.